Have you ever been scrolling deep into the night and had that thought, is this phone actually giving me wrinkles? Or maybe you know that gritty, tired eye feeling all too well after a long day of staring at a screen. Well, you are definitely not alone. Today we're going to get to the bottom of it all, so let's just dive right in.
First, let's just put things into perspective. On average, we check our phones around 150 times a day. I mean, think about that. That's a quick glance, a text, a scroll. It's this almost constant stream of information and, yeah, light pouring directly into our faces.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? We live so much of our lives through these screens, for work, for staying in touch, for fun. But what is the real biological cost of all this time we're spending? We're going to break it down case by case.
Okay, so before we can really dig in as investigators, we've got to know what we're actually dealing with. So let's cover the basics real quick. What even is blue light?
Just think of a rainbow. Blue light is simply one of the colors that we can see. But here's the key, it has a shorter wavelength, which means it packs more energy than colors on the red end of the spectrum. Now, the sun is by far our biggest source of it, but our phones, our laptops, our TVs, they all emit it too. And that's what has everybody talking.
All right, on to our first case file, your skin. I mean, the beauty industry has gone wild with products promising to protect you from screen aging. But is there really any fire behind all that smoke?
Okay, so check this out. This is where things get really interesting. Just look at the scale of the difference here. The blue light intensity from the sun is, wow, almost 100 times more powerful than a big TV screen, and a whopping 700 times more intense than your phone. This data really helps put the risk from our devices into a much clearer perspective.
So here's the bottom line. It's true that in a lab, in a petri dish, scientists have shown that blue light can cause stress to skin cells. But, and this is a big but, when it comes to real life with real people, the clinical evidence just isn't there yet to say your phone is giving you wrinkles. The sun is still, by far, the #1 culprit for light-related skin aging. No contest.
Let's move on to our second case. And this is where the story gets a lot clearer and, frankly, a bit more concerning. We're talking about sleep. If you've ever felt totally wired but also exhausted after scrolling at night, well, you've felt this firsthand.
To really get this, we need to talk about your circadian rhythm. The easiest way to think about it is as your body's own internal master clock. It's what tells you when to feel alert and when it's time to wind down. And guess what its most powerful signal is? Light. Blue light, specifically, is like a shot of espresso for your brain. It screams, "Hey, it's daytime, wake up!" And you know, sleep isn't just an on or off switch. It's this really complex cycle with all these different stages, from light sleep all the way to that deep, restorative sleep our bodies need. So when you blast your eyes with blue light at night, you're not just making it harder to drift off. You're messing with that entire delicate process, which means the sleep you do get might not be as high quality.
And we can actually put a number on this. A huge scientific analysis found that using a screen in the 2 hours before bed pushes back when you fall asleep by an average of 22 minutes. Now, that might not sound like a ton, but it absolutely adds up night after night. But it gets even more interesting, because it's not just about the light itself. It's about what you're doing. This massive study of teenagers found that interactive things, like playing a game or firing off texts, was way more disruptive to their sleep than just passively watching a show. Your brain stays all revved up long after the screen goes dark.
Okay, let's tackle our final case, and this is probably the one that scares people the most. The idea that our screens are causing permanent, irreversible damage to our eyes. Let's separate the fact from the fear. So let's just cut right to the chase here. On one side, you have the myth that blue light from our screens is causing permanent damage, maybe even blindness. On the other side, you have the fact. It contributes to a very real, very uncomfortable, but temporary condition called digital eye strain. And look, you don't just have to take my word for it. The American Academy of Ophthalmology puts it pretty bluntly. As of right now, there is simply no clinical evidence that the amount of blue light coming from our devices is causing permanent eye damage. Now, just because it's not causing permanent damage doesn't mean your discomfort isn't real. Digital eye strain is real, and these symptoms probably look familiar. It's that tired, achy feeling in your eyes. Maybe they get dry and irritated. It's the headaches, the blurry vision, even that pain in your neck and shoulders. That's digital eye strain.
Okay, so we've busted some myths. We've confirmed some real issues. So what's the game plan? What can we actually do about it? Let's get into the practical solutions. This is your toolkit.
First things first, and this one is a total game changer for eye strain.
the 20-20-20 rule. It's super simple and it actually works. All you do is, every 20 minutes, take a break and look at something that's about 20 feet away from you for just 20 seconds. That's it. It lets your eye muscles finally relax for a moment.
All right, and here are a few more pro tips. Go into your settings and turn on night mode in the evening. It warms up the color of your screen. Think about your posture. Your screen should be about an arm's length away and slightly below eye level. Those blue light glasses, the science suggests they can be helpful, but specifically for evening use to help with sleep. And finally, try to create a little screen-free buffer before bed. Maybe swap that last hour of scrolling for something more relaxing.
So when you boil it all down, this really isn't about saying our screens are good or bad. It's about being smarter and more intentional with how we use them. The science is pretty clear that the biggest risks, messed up sleep and eye strain, are things we can actually manage. It's not about fear, it's about balance. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one small change you could make, maybe even starting tonight, to build a better relationship with your screen?